So what do you foresee as the main challenges in each of the disciplines?
Here the challenge lies in how easy we can make the interfaces to use, how intuitive they are, so that our athletes can perform complex daily life-like tasks. The BCI race primarily will rely on brainwave caps, i.e. EEG systems, to decode the intention of the user. Now this is a field that has seen a tremendous amount of work, which is very crowded, and I would assume that the relative advantages between different teams is going to be comparatively small. So I expect this to look more like, a 400-meter race in the classic Olympics, where the timings will be very tight together.
Where are you trying to get that slight advantage?
I think on the day of the competition, a lot will be driven by the form of the pilot, specifically in this race. And so advantages will be here to be able to calibrate the EEG signals quickly and effectively and accurately to the EEG decoding system. And so data efficient algorithms will be key. If you need 2 hours time to set up the system to decode correctly, that may not be what will give you peak performance, because the performance of the athlete will change over time. Having said that, I think it's a bit of a shame that we cannot have additional assistive devices in the role, but this is how the rules are conceived, and we'll do the best that we can. I think the wheelchair race is underestimated in terms of the difficulty that people will face. That's, I think, partially due to the the terrain that the wheelchairs have to cover. It's not, running in circles. It's really complex obstacle courses, and it's not clear to me how many of standard available wheelchairs will be able, electric wheelchairs, will be actually able to master that course. And so the key technology will be about innovations in the area of, how actually propulsion is achieved, but also in how easy and intuitive the controls of the wheelchair are to support that. Another obvious issue is safety, right? So what happens if something goes wrong? What happens if the controls don't match up? Especially what happens if something happens on the obstacle courses or in the race course per se. And I believe, for example, one of the challenges would be walking up a ramp and going through the door, and then walking down a ramp. So how can this be sequenced in an intuitive fashion? How can this be controlled? That there's going to be actually upper body function required and simultaneous steering and control of lower body function. So teams that think about these two aspects at the same time, I think will have an advantage secured for their athletes.